Um, I would think that we have had enough opportunity to read through the law, and the one thing that we thought we would have to do at one time was to have the chairman of the political party here from the Republican Party, because at that time we did not have a board member, a seated Republican board member. So we don't have to act, but we don't have to deal with that now, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, so everything else is what we're looking at taking care of. Now, Ms. Shepherd, being that you were aware most of this law before, and would you speak to that issue, please?
So the process is, in August, an odd number of years, the two political parties, Republican Party and the Democratic Party, nominate two people from each precinct to be chief judge and two people from each precinct to be judges. In August, the board, if those nominations should come from both parties, if in August the board meets to appoint judges and chief judges for each precinct. If none are nominated by either party, then the board has the authority to name judges and chief judges. But if the nominations are made by the parties, then the appointments must come from those nominations. And the law then says, if only one person is nominated, they have to be appointed. So what Ms. McCoy has told me is she has not been able to find any documentation about the original list of nominees from either party. And I can't speak about the Republican Party, but I can speak about the Democratic Party. I know they made a list of nominations. And then the board, as I understand it, the board met, and according to you, this is the list of what they appointed. Okay, so we have a list of what was appointed. The problem is that the law says that the chief judge is to be a resident of the precinct. And someone from out of the precinct can only be appointed temporarily until a qualified resident is named. And as Caitlin Love explained to me, there can only be one judge that's the same party as the chief judge, and there can only be one of the three that lives outside of the precinct. So as an example, if the chief judge has been appointed temporarily and is a Democrat, then the other two judges the two judges have to live in the precinct, and they cannot be the same party. So to make sure that our precinct officials are within compliance with the law, we have to make sure that they are not all of the same party and that at least two of them are residents of the precinct. If we cannot do that with the judge, we've got to use the judges who've already been trained. If we cannot do that, then we have to notify the state that we're out of compliance and ask what we should do for some guidance. Okay? So we need some of our precincts are okay the way they are, but the ones that aren't, like for example Bethel, none of the three assigned are residents of Bethel according to the list you gave us. And we have to have at least two that are residents of the Bethel precinct, and they cannot all be at the same party.
True. Jessica, yes.
This says Patricia Gainey, Letha Pittman, and McLean Page.
Okay.
I got a marked out copy here that has a, maybe that's,
Well, McLean and Jessica are both residents of Bethel.
But they're not, but Bethel, the assignments to Bethel are Patricia Gainey, Letha Pittman, and McLean Page.
Yes, and he is a resident of Bethel.
Is Letha Pittman?
No.
Is Patricia Gainey? Then that can't go. And is McLean listed on the list of poll workers that we were given?
I couldn't find
Of the active poll workers? I couldn't find them.
And there's a Jessica Taylor, who's that on this list? I don't have that list with her
I
name
don't
on
have
it.
any.
You just got that?
Jessica Taylor was on it.
I don't have that list. with
I don't
Jessica
have
Taylor's
that
name on it.
Nor do I.
Okay, so this is not the same list you gave us at the beginning, is that right?
No, it's not.
this is
Jessica is listed each time.
marked out, handwritten, marked out.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And she
I don't
just
have
said,
that.
and that might have been her list, that she might have to copy that before she handed me. few more marks on the back, turn over two.
Oh, I see, so you made some changes. Okay, so, no,
Okay,
so
all right.
let's just, can we just not go precinct by precinct?
I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but this, let's make sure it does have this is the one that I got printed April 23rd.
That's
At the bottom.
5:31 p.m.
Right.
That's the
You talking about
That's
the
it.
poll worker this thing?
Right.
Yeah,
By
poll
precinct,
by
okay,
precinct.
all right.
so
All
that's
right.
correct.
Okay, so we're looking at Abbott's.
So let me see what
Yeah, and I'm talking about for the assignments. So according to this, here's who's been assigned to Abbott. Sakita Washington, Michael Sasser, and Janice Blanks. And when you look at your poll workers list, for Abbott's, Sakita Washington is a resident, Michael Sasser is a resident, Janice Blanks is not, that's okay. But they're all three Democrats. So what we need is, we need somebody to take Janice Blanks' place that is not a Democrat. We cannot have all three of the same party.
And there's one listed, Robert Gooden.
Is Bobby in Brown Marsh or is he in
Oh, is that
Abbott?
Bobby?
He's Bobby.
Bobby Good? Oh, Robert James
Robert,
there.
okay.
Is that who Robert Gooden is?
Yeah,
But
The one that sells
his-
cars?
yeah,
He said he was registered unaffiliated.
he's Republican.
Well, I knew that, they said he was
His
registered.
address is Bladensburg.
Because there's a creek,
That's exactly right.
the creek
Twisted
in Thompson
Hickory
Town
Road.
from, between Abbotsburg and before you get to the church in Thompson Town on Twisted Hickory. There's a creek, is that the precinct boundary there or?
He's not gonna work the poll anyway. I mean, obviously, he's not working the poll anyway, so, and he's not been through training, right, recently. So so we need to find somebody else, and it might be that somebody else that needs to be moved, we can do that. And maybe we'll come back to that, but Sakita and Michael are okay, they've already been trained, correct? They've agreed to work, okay. So in Bethel, you said that, and on this last one, you've got McLean Pate marked out and Jessica Taylor put in.
Right.
Okay, that still doesn't say Patricia Gainey and Letha Pittman. Okay, now, and I'm gonna say this, if this list you gave us, if they were legally appointed, then what it says here is that Angela Pate was appointed to be chief judge in Bethel. And if she was legally appointed to be chief judge in Bethel, then she cannot be replaced with a Democrat. She can only be replaced as chief judge with a Republican. So, if we're taking suggestions, I would like to see Melissa White move there. And I'm saying that because I watched her close the polls at Hollow. She did everything perfectly right. We've had a problem in the past with Bethel taking 45 minutes to an hour to report. Many times they've been the last one to report. So I would like to see Melissa White move to Bethel. She's a resident of Bethel. But it's got to be a Republican. If these people were legally appointed, it's got to be a Republican. And then if, as written here, Jessica Taylor is a resident of Bethel, then that will give us 2 residents of Bethel. And Letha Pittman is not a resident of Bethel, but she is a Democrat, so we would have our balance of the parties.
Patricia Gainey, where is she a resident of?
Elizabethtown 1, according to the list they gave us.
Yeah, that's,
And Jessica Taylor is what?
It says right here that she's a white Republican. And she said she was a resident of Bethel.
I see her.
yeah, I see it now, over here road.
So if McLean Pate is a poll worker and a resident of Bethel, why is he not on the list?
I don't see him, that's what I'm looking for.
We don't see appointed.
He's not showing up under,
Yes,
Maybe that's why he's scratched
Yeah.
off, because he's not on the list.
he is on that list.
he's
He's
not
not on
here.
this list.
Is
Is he
it
a resident of Bethel?
Yes, his name is Billy Ray McLean Pate III.
So he's your husband?
No, he's my
Really?
son.
Oh.
Oh, that's,
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah, there are
I'm
a lot of
looking for
people on there
McLean,
that live the
that's
same
Billy
address.
Ray. Mhm. Assistant.
It's a whole household.
Mhm. Okay. So is that acceptable to assign Melissa White
I mean,
as?
that's what you want.
Okay.
So let's do that.
So Melissa White is going to
Bethel,
Bethel
as chief judge.
as chief judge.
And Letha Pittman will stay there, and
What about,
Jessica Taylor. Is Jessica Taylor, she's not related to Melissa White. You can't have two people that are related to the same place either.
so for Bethel, we changing the chief judge to
Melissa White.
Melissa White.
So then we that.
Letha Pittman and Jessica Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Melissa White's a Republican.
And Letha Pittman's Democrat.
Mhm.
And she lives in Bethel?
No. There are no poll workers in Bethel that are anything but white Republicans out of the 16.
Oh, okay. All right.
And most of them are related to the same family.
Okay. So she's a Democrat.
So we have 2 Republicans and a Democrat there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright.
And then in Abbott's, we have 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. And we, you know, and unaffiliated would work. I mean, as long as they're not all the same party.
Right.
So that's when we gotta go back and do this.
Check on Abbott.
Bladenboro 1. The chief judge is not a resident of Bladenboro 1. Jennifer Vaughn is not a resident of Bladenboro 1. Margaret Lennon is a resident of Bladenboro 1. So one of those first 2 have to be changed. And according to this, the only judge in Bladenboro 1 that's a resident is Joanne
Joanne
Rogers. That's, everybody else is just assistants. Ms. McCoy, is Joanne Rogers, has she been through training? Has she been trained to be a chief judge? So we're gonna have to have a chief judge who has been through training for Bladenboro 1 that is a Republican and has been trained. Has Tim Page been trained? So he could remain as chief judge in Bladenboro, because there is no qualified resident of Bladenboro 1 to be a chief judge. That means that Jennifer Vaughn has to be replaced, because she's not a resident of Bladenboro 1.
So we need
Was she resident?
we
Member
we need another, we need a resident of Bladenboro.
We need a resident of Bladenboro 1. Yeah. We've got 1 Republican, 1 Democrat there already. So it could be whoever has been trained that is a resident of Bladenboro 1.
She's resident with Jennifer Vaughn.
Yeah, she is.
So Margaret can stay, right?
She's a resident.
So you want to let's move on down the list, because there may be some folks who are
Who we're gonna have.
in
to
a
do.
different, precinct, but reside in Bladenboro. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2, but
Well, Jennifer Vaughn lives in Bladenboro too, but she does not live
in
in
Bladenboro
Bladenboro
1.
1.
Right.
What is Lincoln Villa Gomez?
Bethel.
He lives in Bethel. He's assigned in Lake Creek.
So you wanna come back and, about that Jennifer Vaughn
Yeah.
thing? Okay, so Bladenboro 2 is fine the way it is. They're all residents of Bladeboro too. There's a mix of the parties, there's no problem there. Brown Marsh is okay, they're all residents of Brown Marsh. They're not all of the same party. Carver's Creek,
Well, hold a minute. Brown Marsh, Bobby Gooden. This is Robert James Gooden. The same identical person. We got him in Abbott, and we got him in Brown Marsh.
he's
See
listed
that?
twice.
See here,
See him in Abbott's.
where is he?
No, he's not listed.
He's not listed twice?
No.
No, he's listed
He's
on
not in
there
Brown
as
Marsh.
in
In Brown Marsh, there's Alice Good.
Alex Gooden, that's the
Oh,
only
yeah.
Gooden in Brown Marsh.
Mr. Edwards, Linda Grant, and Linda Croom for Brown Marsh.
Well, I don't know where this come from, but I mean,
That was on,
That has a Bobby Good under Brown Marsh there.
Yep.
Yeah, he
That's
was
Republican.
appointed, that's what
He
I'm
was
saying.
appointed there,
He
but
was
he doesn't
originally
live there.
appointed, but now he's
Okay.
been replaced.
Okay, I got
Okay.
that. Make sure you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, and there's a whole procedure, if this list, if people that are on this list are not serving, then they had to be, who replaced them had to be appointed, and that never happened. You know, and I understand that, I understand, I attended enough board meetings to know what happened. She sent this, y'all just put whoever she wanted, wherever she wanted, but, you know, we're just trying to get it right now. All right, Carver's Creek, they are all residents, but they're all Democrats. We need a Republican to go there.
And I think that's the situation you're gonna have, like you said, in Bethel.
there are no Republicans in Carver's Creek.
There are.
I mean, on the
They're not on the
list.
list, yeah, I don't think there's any listed as poll workers.
Is the listed,
Now,
this
this
list,
list here for 2017, 2019, those appointees, you have a Junie Davis.
But they weren't a resident of Carver's Creek.
You know, I know, because I don't see that name on here.
I have a question. Is this the poll worker listing that's by precinct? I know they may not have been trained, but is there a list where we have some folks who are, they're not inactive?
There is
Is
a
this
list of
the-
inactive
is there a
pollers.
list
Their
of
pollers are
inactive?
inactive, right? They decided they don't wanna work anymore with it.
Or
Some people
not been,
decide.
just not,
Like Robert
didn't make the
Williams
cut?
called, and I don't think he was wanting to work.
He probably wasn't, he probably didn't wanna miss work.
Okay.
Okay, in Central, Ellen Bryan is a resident of Collie. Okay. Deborah Page was appointed to be chief judge there. Has she been through the training?
We have contacted Deborah Page by phone, left her messages, we have sent her something in the mail. We have not heard from her.
Okay, so she's not been through training this time, we didn't want people through training. Okay, well, let me say this, there is a resident of Central who has been assigned as chief judge to, Turnbull. Phil Pontag, I guess is his name. If he's a resident of Central, he should be the chief judge of Central. And he's listed on here, on this list you gave us as a resident of Central.
But I see him under Cypress Street.
Oh, he is?
Evan Philip Pontac. I
Yeah,
see
he's
him,
under Cypress
well,
Creek.
his address is Garland, but he's listed.
Oh, that's
under
right, he is Cypress.
Cypress Creek,
He's
but
chief
not
judge there.
Turnbull.
He is Cypress Creek, but
But
Carleen
not
McIntyre.
Turnbull,
Yeah,
because on here he's at Turnbull.
Carleen McIntyre has been appointed as Chief Justice of Cypress Creek, but if Carl Kane was appointed, he's a Republican, Carleen is a Democrat. Why is Mr. Carl Kane not serving as Chief Judge? He's been there forever.
Well, when we had training.
He couldn't come for training anymore.
Well, is that when Carleen took over? She wanted to be,
Yeah, she has served before as Chief Judge there, right?
yeah, chief or serve. I think twice.
What I'm saying is, I don't think these people were ever legally appointed anyway. I mean, I can't find anything in minutes or anything that they were legally appointed. Personally, my main concern is that the precinct workers are residents of the precincts and that we have the balance between the parties. It doesn't look good when you have all Democrats. It doesn't look good when you have all Republicans. It doesn't look good when you have, 8 people that are all members of the same family. It doesn't make people have confidence. When people go to vote, I never had to show any ID in Hall Township in 45 years because when I walked in the door, Carrie Monroe knew who everybody that walked through there was. People want people that they live close to be their poll workers. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's why the law was written that way. So I don't have any problem with Carlene McIntyre. She served there before. But if the Republicans want to make a complaint because Republicans have been replaced with Democrat, they can. They probably will. But, it might be a case where we have to replace a Democrat with a Republican too, to get trained people in place and get the balance the way they're supposed to be.
Madam Chair, may I just,
Ma'am.
this is, yes. Yes, and yes. So this is absolutely disturbing. So, I guess I'm gonna ask, do you guys already know the precincts? If we can eliminate the precincts that you think are absolutely okay, if you could go through and, how many precincts, 17? So can you go through that list and let's pull out the 17 that are okay, and then let us know how many that we've gotta work with. Now, and then we may need to see what we could do. You may have to table this, I don't know, for a couple of days and then maybe call another meeting after you maybe engage both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party about who they appointed and who should be on this list. And then we're gonna have to get really quickly, because even if they've been through training, there's a difference between being a chief judge and an assistant judge. We're probably gonna have to bring them back and do some more training.
Well, that was what we were saying, was
Yeah.
we were hoping
Sooner
to
we
keep
could
all
do
the
it.
chief judges
Right.
the same,
I understand.
so that we wouldn't have to do that, but we cannot do that and fall within the law of the
It
Democrat.
sounds like you're right, you're having some difficulties that we may need to do something else, but so I think I strongly believe that we need to figure out how bad this issue is, and so that we can, get some precinct officials, compliant trained, and also, you're absolutely right, consistent with North Carolina law. That would be my recommendation, however you can
So Bethel,
see how many of the 17 are okay.